Hey everyone, Matt here with Reach Your Summit Trail Name Knowledge. And in this video, I'm going to share with you all of the gear that I'm going to be using for the 2025 Allegheny 100. So we are 2 months away from the 2025 Allegheny 100. Been chatting with quite a few of you, and I look forward to sharing the trails with you out there this year. Those of you who follow my channel or have seen some of my videos in the past know that this event is near and dear to my heart, and it is one that has certainly lived up to its name. For those of you new to my channel, welcome. And for those of you unfamiliar with the event that I'm talking about, this is a hiking challenge known as the Allegheny 100 or A100. It takes place in the middle of June each year, and there are different increments of mileage that you can sign up for: 25 miles, 50 miles, 75 miles, or 100 miles. And the challenge has a cutoff time of 50 hours. It's completely unsupported, and it takes place on the North Country Trail in Allegheny National Forest in northwestern Pennsylvania. So I'm signed up for the 100 miles, and I can't wait to get back out on the North Country Trail this year. Typical temperatures expected during this event are around the low 80s during the day, sometimes the upper 70s, and at night you can expect temperatures in the low to mid 50s. This section of the North Country Trail has a lot of beautiful highlights. It can often be very muddy, and it can often be very wet. Terrain is a mix of old Forest Service roads, single track, double track, lots of roots and rocks. There's some long, steady climbs and also some shorter, steep climbs throughout the 100 miles. So this year, the event is going to be starting at the southern end of Allegheny National Forest and heading north toward the New York border. I'm also looking at putting together a food video for what I'll be packing for this event, so check back to the channel for that. And I'm also looking at posting some of my training videos. Now that the snow is gone, at least for southern New England, I'm able to start logging a lot more mileage in, doing 25 to 35 mile days, getting out on hikes in varying conditions, out in the rain. Been also getting out for some night hiking. Night hiking is going to be crucial in order to complete the 100 miles in 50 hours or less. They start you off at 6 p.m. on a Friday night, so a fair amount of night hiking will be involved. Also been adding a lot of elevation gains into my hiking, and having a really lightweight base weight and having everything dialed in will help a lot too. So with my 5.5 pound base weight and all of the food and water I'm planning on carrying, I'm not looking at being any higher than 11 to 12 pounds total at the start. Currently looking at around 4 pounds total for my food and about 2 pounds 3 ounces for water. So let's get into the gear. So kicking things off, I have my pack here. Could certainly get away with one of my favorite packs, the Palante Joey, for this event, which is a 24-liter running vest style pack. But I'm going with this one. This is definitely going to be a little bit overkill for me in terms of capacity, but this is a pack that I made from start to finish, cut the pattern the way that I wanted it. These are all features that I wanted. I sewed everything together, so it has a little bit more meaning to me. So I thought, what better opportunity to pursue this challenge than with something that I personally made. This pack weighs about 12.8 ounces. It's around 45 liters, give or take. I made this more as a year-round pack, so it's a slightly burlier fabric. It does have a good amount of water resistance to it. I have a nice stretchy outer front pocket for storing things. I have some shock cord here as well. Really big bottle pockets on each side, which will accommodate 2 1-liter bottles each. I have a stowaway pocket in the bottom here too for snacks and for a rain jacket or anything I want quick access to. I have shoulder strap pockets here on either side for additional smaller items that I want to get to throughout the day. And then I have some shock cord here on the side to keep my trekking pole in place. This is a roll top style pack. I have some button snaps here that I added to it that kind of complement the grosgrain that I used for reinforcing all of the seams that I sewed throughout the whole pack. And then I have a single buckle closure with a compression strap at the top. So if I have anything larger that I want to put on top of the pack, I can do that as well. It's a pretty minimal, simple pack, but it does have quite a few features. And it's one that I've been using quite a bit, and I've been really happy with it. Looking forward to putting a lot more mileage in with it this year. Now, because this is a frameless, hip beltless pack, I want to add a little bit of structure to it. So I'm going to do that with my sleeping pad. So for this event, I'm going to be using a Gossamer Gear 3/8 inch torso length pad. This was originally known as the Nightlight, and this is a pad that was inspired by Gossamer Gear founder Glenn Van Pesky. So I'm going to be sliding this inside of the back of my pack to give it some structure, to prevent things from digging into my back while I'm hiking. And then I can use this as a sit pad if I need to take quick breaks, and then lay it out at night. And this will cover my torso, and then I can put my legs and my feet on top of my pack. My pack is also not 100% waterproof, so I'll be using a Nylafume pack liner. This is going to keep my sleep system dry. Anything else that I want to keep dry too will go inside of here, and it's going to line the inside of my pack. So let's jump into the sleep system, and then I'll go over my shelter. I'm going to be using Z-Pack's 30-degree solo quilt. It's nice and light, compressible, uses 900 fill power down. I bought this last year from Z-Pack's bargain bin, and I've been really happy with it. I used it throughout all of the rest of last year for 3 season trips and long hikes. I find it to be very warm, so I'll be using it on the Allegheny 100. I'm also going to be bringing a pillow. This is the Z-Pack's Comfy Camp Pillow. Only weighs 2.5 ounces. It's filled with synthetic insulation. So I can unzip one of the sides, remove the insulation, and stuff a puffy jacket in there if I wanted, or some clothing. So it has a good amount of versatility. Very cozy pillow. Packs down super small, and it'll give me just enough comfort and support for this event. Then for my shelter, I'm hoping to just use this bivvy on its own. So this is the Bora Gear bivvy. Dyneema composite fabric bottom to it. A really nice breathable nylon on the top and some mesh. This one was custom made, so I had an additional panel sewn in at the head end for splash protection. I also have a side zipper with this, and I got to choose the upper fabric for the bivvy. So again, I'm hoping to use this on its own if there's light bug pressure, if I want to have a slight increase in warmth, if it's a little drafty and cooler out. But I'm also going to be bringing a tarp just in case, for additional protection from the wind, from any precipitation that might fall, because this is not waterproof. So this is a tarp made out of Ultra TNT. And if you saw my video in the past going over a 9-foot by 9-foot tarp made of Ultra TNT, this is that tarp. I just cut it down and modified it to the length and width that I wanted. So this is a 9-foot long by 5.5 to 6 foot wide tarp. I have tie outs throughout the whole entire tarp some 1.2 millimeter line here attached with bowlines around the whole entire tarp for a quick, easy adjustment. And then I have some loops at the ends to stake out the tarp. Total weight for the tarp is around 5.5 ounces. And the total weight for my bivvy is about 4.5 ounces. What's great about this setup is I have great versatility with it. I can set it up in really small areas that I might come to when I'm in the middle of hiking if I get really tired. There's no shortage of ways to set something like this up. I'm a big fan of tarps. I've been using them for years. One of my favorites is the 7-foot by 9-foot Z-Pax Dyneema composite fabric tarp, but I wanted to go with something a little bit more minimal for this challenge. And this is also very easy to repair. I do have some Ultra TNT tape to patch up any punctures or issues that I might have with the tarp. An alternative that I have to this is my Metaphysics abode. If bug pressure is just going to be like obnoxiously high during this challenge, and I want to have a little bit of sanity to help with rest and recovery, then I'm going to go with the Metaphysics abode. Been really happy with that shelter too. Sets up with one single trekking pole and a couple of stakes, but it'll give me a little bit more sanity than this setup will should the bug pressure end up being really high. And I'll make that decision as we get closer to the event. Total weight for that setup is 7.2 ounces. Regardless of if I go with this or the Metaphysics abode, I'm going to have a piece of polycro here, which is basically just a piece of plastic. This is going to give me a nice clean surface to sort through everything whenever I'm stopping for breaks or getting everything set up. If I'm using the Metaphysics abode, that sheet of plastic actually acts as my floor for the tent. And then for stakes, just going to be using some titanium shepherd hook stakes like I have here. I'm bringing 6 of them. So that's my shelter and my sleep system and my pack for the event, or the big 3. Let's get into some of the smaller things now. Kick it off with my water treatment and water storage for the event. So I've been personally trying to get away from carrying plastic bottles out on the trail, and these are a nice light alternative. So these are the Hygiene soft water bottles. Each of these is about 500 milliliters each, or about half of a liter each. So in total here I have 1 liter of water. This is what I'm hoping to only need to carry through most of the event. I don't know how water sources are going to be at the time of the event. In the past, they've been very reliable, but it all depends on how the season is and the conditions are leading up to the event. So one is going to be strictly for water. The other is going to be for electrolyte mixes and coffee in the morning. But I'm also going to be carrying a Canuck Vecto X. This is 2 liters in capacity. I'm going to have this as a backup, as additional water storage if I need it. There are some stretches where water's a little bit tougher to get, and I'll be pairing it with the Sawyer Micro. So I can drink straight from this with the filter if I wanted, or I'm going to be bringing a coupler, which will allow me to use this as a gravity filter so I can focus on other things while my water is being treated. The total weight with this bag empty and these 2 empty is just under 5 ounces. And then the Sawyer Micro weighs about 2 ounces. I'm going to be going stoveless for the event, and I wanted to have a bit of efficiency and ease of use. So I'm going with a food storage method that will be a little bit heavier than other methods I've used, but it's going to be quick and effective and allow me to get to bed a bit faster. So this is the Ursack Major XL. I'll be lining it with odor-proof liner bag. This is about 15 liters in size, rolls down nice and small, and it'll be plenty of room for all of the food that I'll be bringing for this year's challenge. For the small stuff, I have my Diddy bag here. I'm going to be bringing 2 flashlights this year. This is the Rovivon Aurora A5X. USB-C rechargeable. Going to bring two just to have one for use while the other one might be charging. Also just as an emergency backup. These weigh about ½ ounce each. Very bright, long lasting. Has a red light, a little clip to clip it to the brim of my hat so I can use it as a headlamp if I'd like to. But one of my favorite features of this little tiny flashlight is that it glows in the dark, so very easy to find in the middle of the night if I need it. And this is one of my absolute favorite lights. I prefer this over headlamps and looking forward to using this on the challenge this year. And I have some waterproof, windproof matches. Since I'm not going to be using a stove, I'm not going to have a lighter with me. I do want to have some way to start a fire in an emergency if I need it, so I'm going to be packing a couple of these. Then in here I have gear repair, I have hygiene, first aid, I have emergency backup, and I also have some slow cooker liner bags to use as a vapor barrier liner if I need it. And here I have my electronics. So I have all of my charging cables that I need, desiccant packet inside of there to absorb any moisture that might end up inside of here. And then I'm going to be carrying Anker PowerCore Nano. It's 10,000 milliamp hour battery pack, and it has 30 watt charging, so it has very fast charging. It has a nice little battery display in the front that tells me how much battery is left in this. And 10,000 milliamp hour is going to be plenty for all of my devices that I'm going to need to charge throughout the challenge. Then I have a Rology Reach Your Summit cork massage ball just to roll out any tension in areas where I might have it if anything's feeling sore. A little bit of self-care goes a long way, especially during events and challenges like this. And then I have a small Swiss Army classic multi-tool and knife. It has scissors, tweezers, screwdrivers, everything that I could possibly need. I'm also going to be bringing some Apple AirPods just to listen to podcasts. Podcasts keep me going on these really long endurance challenges. When you're hiking on your own, you have a lot of time to think to yourself. So this will be a nice morale booster. For the rest of my pack, I have some sanitizer, some lip balm, and some Body Glide anti-chafe healing balm to help with any friction, hot spots I might have, help reduce blisters. I have some sunblock here. I have some insect repellent. This is all natural. It's made out of plant oils, and I packaged it in a small spray bottle. This is a lotion, so I can just spritz it in areas where I might need it. And I also have a Sunto Clipper compass attached to my sternum strap if I end up needing that. In the other shoulder strap pocket, I have my sunglasses. These are the Ombraz sunglasses, armless sunglasses, very durable, good clarity with them, very comfortable, very lightweight, and I've been really happy with these sunglasses. Then in the front here, I have my Allegheny National Forest map. This is of the entire section of trail that I will be hiking on. I'll be carrying a Garmin InReach Mini for satellite communication and check the weather with this, message back and forth if an emergency were to happen, and also hit SOS in a medical situation where I can't evacuate out or in a life-threatening situation where I can't evacuate out. I have an iPhone 15 Pro that I'm going to be bringing with me too, and that also allows me to send messages without cell service. So I have this as a backup and also the phone. Then I have my Deuce of Spades trowel, and I have my Common Gear bidet. I'm also going to be bringing a mosquito head net. So if bug pressure is very light and I don't even want to set up the bivvy, I can just put this over my head and sleep out in the open, but still have a little bit of insect protection around my face. And then my quilt will do the rest for the rest of my body. I'm also going to be bringing a single Z-Pax carbon fiber trekking pole with a Gossamer gear grip that I modified on it. This is going to work with my tarp or the Metaphysics abode should I use that as my shelter. It'll help with any water crossings, and if I start feeling tired at the end of the day with the high mileage, then this is going to help carry me along a little bit further so I can continue toward my goal of 100 miles in 50 hours or less. All right, and moving along to things I'll be wearing. I'm going to be wearing the Apple Watch Ultra. This is going to allow me to keep track of my mileage, monitor stats like my heart rate and my pace, keep an eye on the time, and also check the weather. For my lower half, I'm going to be using the Montbell Tachyon wind pants. These will be great in windy conditions. I will also use this in the rain if it starts really pouring out. Not worried too much about my legs getting wet. I typically run warm. This will help keep me a little bit warmer when it's wet outside. They'll definitely soak through quickly, but they will also dry fast. For my upper body, I haven't decided completely on this one yet. Either going to go with the Enlightened Equipment Vest. This will be if it's going to be a very wet challenge this year. This is a 3-layer waterproof breathable rain jacket with pit zips for mechanical ventilation. I really love this jacket. It's nice and light, weighs around like 5 or 5.5 ounces. I'm always a little hesitant to use it now though, just because I guess they're not making them anymore. That's going to be my rain protection. If it's just going to be a light mist, not too much heavy rain expected during the challenge, then I might end up going with the Patagonia Houdini. This is a jacket I've worn for many, many years. Works well in like a light mist or a light rain. It has great warmth retention. It still breathes somewhat well. Such a fantastic jacket, and this only weighs about 3.6 or 3.7 ounces. And the other jacket I'm also considering using for this year is the Arc'teryx Incendo Airshell. That one is just a little bit more breathable than this Houdini here. It weighs just 1/10 of an ounce more than the Houdini, but it has hand pockets, and sometimes hand pockets are nice. I have the Ultra Timp 5 boas. This is another item that I'm still in the deciding process with. I really love the quick fine-tune adjustment of the boa, and the cushion is fantastic. It'll be great for really long, high-mileage days. Vibram outsole, so great in wet and muddy, rocky, root-filled conditions. Been really happy with these shoes, and they're a nice addition in my footwear rotation along with my regular Ultra Timp 5s. But I also picked up the Ultra Lone Peak 9 Plus recently, and I'm considering using those just because they have the Vibram outsole. They'll give me a little bit more ground feel. The Lone Peak has been my go-to for years. I've really been enjoying the Lone Peak 9 Plus as well. For me, this is about as close to perfect of a shoe as possible, but having the slight extra cushion of the Timp 5 might be a little bit more beneficial for me with the high mileage and the loaded pack that I'll have with me for the challenge. So I'm going to continue putting more mileage on each of these shoes and make the decision as I get closer, but I'm definitely going with a shoe that has a Vibram outsole this year, something that's non-waterproof, that'll dry very fast, breathe really well. It's all boiling down to how much cushion I find that I'm going to want as we get closer to the challenge. Then my socks, I'm going to be wearing Injinji toe socks. I've been wearing these for several years now exclusively, and I can't wear anything else. They just work really well with my Ultra footwear. So I'm going to be bringing a thicker Ultra Run pair this year and the thinner run socks that I've been using during the summer months when it's really hot out. And then for sleep each night, I'm going to be bringing a pair of Alpha Direct socks just to help with recovery and allow my feet to breathe a little bit while still keeping the inside of my quilt clean and also giving me a little bit of extra warmth. And I'm going to be wearing some gaiters. These are by Ultra Gam, great at keeping dirt and debris out, keeping my feet cleaner. It allows me to continue focusing and moving during the challenge rather than stopping frequently to pick things out of my shoes and my socks. Very light, they dry fast. Right now I have some Patagonia Terrebonne jogger pants on just because it's like 30s out here right now, but I'm going to be wearing Palante shorts for the challenge, which I have on underneath these pants. So what's nice about these is they have really deep pockets on the front. They also have them in the back on both sides. They dry fast, they're very comfortable, and they're my favorite hiking shorts. Then under my shorts, I'm going to be wearing some Patagonia Sender boxer briefs. My upper half, I'm going to be wearing Old Navy Go Dry Cool short sleeve shirt. I bought a few of these in different colors. I've really enjoyed these shirts, so I'm going to be wearing that. It'll wick sweat really well, work as a great base layer, but also a standalone layer for hiking each day. I'm going to be using the event shirt that they give you as my sleep shirt, just to have something nice and clean to wear when I'm resting and recovering. My mid layer, I'm still slightly undecided on, so I'm leaning a lot more toward what I have right here. And this is the Old Navy Micro Grid long sleeve fleece. This has a quarter zip. It also has thumb holes. So I use this when I need a little bit of warmth around my hands. Also helps with layering. I find this to be very warm and it dries very fast. This is definitely not as light as my Polartec Alpha Direct fleeces that I really love using. Should it rain or be really wet and cold, it'll be nice having something just a little bit thicker for a little bit of additional warmth and also having a slight increase in durability. This fleece does weigh about 10 ounces though. And the other item that I'm considering instead is what I have on over it. So this is the Arc'teryx Atom SL. This weighs a little less at just under 9.5 ounces. It's basically an insulated windbreaker. So I have insulation throughout the chest here, just a solid piece of insulation. I also have it along the whole entire back. And then the side panels here are Octa fleece. So very similar to Polartec Alpha Direct for increased breathability. With the thinner insulation in here, this actually works really well as an active layer. The sleeves are not insulated and the hood is not insulated. This jacket also has two fleece lined pockets where my fleece doesn't have any pockets at all. I'm also going to be bringing buff headwear. So this provides a lot of warmth just being around the neck. Very versatile. I can turn it into a beanie at night and use that to sleep in. It'll give me a little bit of extra sun protection if I need it. And if it's just expected to be light, misty, not a lot of heavy rain, and I was planning on using the Patagonia Houdini jacket or the Arc'teryx Incendio air shell, I can just go with this and cover my bases with having insulation, but also having a windbreaker. So, still thinking about that one. And then for my head, I do have a beanie on right now that I made. Not going to be bringing this. Instead, I'm going to be wearing a Ciela Go Cap. This will give me great sun protection. It dries very fast. It breathes really well. I really enjoy their hats, so I'm going to be wearing one of those. So there you have it. That's a quick rundown of everything that I'm going to be using for the 2025 Allegheny 100. For those of you preparing for the challenge also, or anybody that is just interested in what someone might carry for an endeavor like that, I hope that you all found this video helpful and enjoyable. If you did like this video, hit the like button. And for any of you that are going to be joining me for this challenge, what are some things that you're going to be using? I'd love to hear what's worked really well for you in the comments. And if you have any questions about this event, I'm always happy to help. feel free to leave those in the comments below as well. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. I'm always adding new content to it. I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I greatly appreciate it. All of you that are signed up for the event this year, I wish you all the best of luck, and I look forward to seeing all of you out there. Take care. Thank you again, and until the next one, I'll see you on the trail.